perfect and past simple. Remember from the previous video, played. Now let's look at past simple. Past simple, there are two types of verbs, regular verbs and irregular verbs. For regular verbs, you simply add ed to the end of the infinitive. For example, I played tennis. And it's the same form for all pronouns. I played, you played, he, she played, we, you, and they played. For irregular verbs, you would have to go and learn the form from a list. You can go to our website, Anglo-Link.com, where you will find a list of the most common irregular verbs, which you will have to memorize. That's all for formulation. Let's move on to usage. Right, recap on the usage of present perfect, which we looked at in the previous video. Action that is complete at the time of speaking. Examples were, I've studied 3 sections until now. I've already done half of the exercises. He has driven 500 kilometers so far. Let's look at the past simple. Past simple is similar to present perfect in that it also refers to a completed action in the past. But this time there is a clear reference to the specific time of the action in the past. Let's look at the examples. First example, I've studied 3 sections until now. The action is complete, but we don't know when. If we add the when element, if we specify the time in the past, the tense changes to past simple. Let's watch the change. I studied 3 sections last night. Let's look at the second example. I've already done half of the exercises. Let's add a specific time in the past. And the verb changes to I did half of the exercises before lunch. And our final example, he has driven 500 kilometers so far. Let's add the specific time in the past and watch the change from present perfect to past simple. He drove 500 kilometers yesterday. Let's look at the timelines for a better picture of the differences. Here's the present perfect that you saw in the previous video. An action in the past, completed at some point, we don't know when, or we don't care to mention when. The action is complete at the time of speaking. Now, if we mention that specific time in the past, if we fix our past time, we must change to past simple. Action completed at a specific time in the past. There is no longer any connection with now. For example, yesterday, 2 weeks ago, when I was 10, etc. Let's look at some common mistakes. The most common mistake is using the present perfect instead of the past simple. For example, saying something like, we have bought this car 2 months ago. Because we are mentioning a specific time in the past, 2 months ago, we should use the past simple. We bought this car 2 months ago. Another example, I have slept well last night. Once again, last night refers to a specific time in the past. So we need to use the past simple. I slept well last night. Another example, she has met him when she was at college. Again, when she was at college refers to a specific period of time in the past, and therefore we should use past simple. She met him when she was at college. The mistake can be made the other way around, using the past simple where present perfect is required. For example, I already called him. Already means sometime in the past until now. The present perfect, I have already called him. I must point out that I already called him is sometimes acceptable in American English. Let's look at two other examples where the past tense is used. She just came back. You might hear this, especially in America, but really the correct tense is she has just come back, because just doesn't refer to a specific time in the past. It tells us that the action is complete, not a long time ago. And let's look at our last example. Prices went up this month. This month is not a reference in the past. The month continues. It's a present time. It means until now, in this month. So we should use the present perfect. Prices have gone up this month.